For people who are struggling right now with Facebook advertising and realizing like, oh man, what I thought was working or what was working previously is no longer working. And now I don't know how much I can spend or what type of a halo effect I actually get from advertising on Facebook. What are some, like, how would you recommend they start tracking using post-purchase surveys? What are some simple things that they could do? What's like the bare minimum? And then what are some more advanced things you're seeing that people are doing?
Yeah, my advice for that really starts around attribution. It's not really around post-purchase surveys yet. I think it's just understanding the ways in which you can solve attribution. So it's studying, maybe it's just running simple regressions as far as I spent this month, I spent this, and just having the knowledge of how those functions work. Understanding like a multi-touch solution like Rockerbox, how does that work? And really just building a better mental model around attribution. So that's kind of like my first piece of advice.
You said people. Rocket, what was it? Rocket what?
Rockerbox. It's
Rockerbox.
Multi-touch attribution. We integrate with them. Have a ton of customers using them. And that's multi-touch. It's very advanced. I think on that side, post-purchase surveys have done very well because of like Occam's razor, essentially. It's like the easiest solution is typically the best one. And it's just because you see the data. You can understand it. You can act on it very quickly versus this was the 5th touch in 8 touches. What does that mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And as with regards to attribution and post-purchase surveys, what we like to suggest people to do is start to build internal tools to understand and measure attribution. So not just the first part was kind of let's understand how it works. And now it's like, okay, how do we think about this? And the more brands do that, the more they'll get comfortable with diversifying spend. Be able to say, hey, we can invest $5, $10, $20, $30,000 into a channel because we've created these tools to allow us to measure them. Post-purchase surveys, we would obviously argue works on all channels. It's very much top of funnel. It can capture almost anything. But just being able to be comfortable in making those decisions will allow you to do that versus a lot of brands we see today, even ones that kind of venture-backed ones that are kind of kicked off in the last 12, 24 months, a lot of them still rely on Facebook. They're following a very similar playbook.
Yeah.
And my biggest advice to them is like go in Excel a bit more, start to just think about this. How much did you spend? How much did you get back? Like, can you scale a $4 CPC for an $80 AOV product with less than a 10% conversion rate? Like probably not. And that kind of math function, I think, helps people really understand how to just drive the ship moving forward.
Sure.
And then on the survey side, like, again, we recommend everyone ask all of their customers how they heard about them. Essentially, like we call it progressive profiling. This data attaches to a customer ID. It could be used long-term to understand LTV.
Connects to Klaviyo, right?
Connects to Klaviyo.
Yeah.
And just capturing, it's very hard to get that data in the past. You want to capture it as quick as possible. Like if somebody, like we work with Boll & Branch, for example, they've been around for over 5 years. So if you're asking a customer, a returning customer, how they heard about you, it's probably not going to be overly valuable. So getting this data and setting this up as quick as possible and building out that foundation of where new customers are coming from is definitely what we recommend.